I'm not gonna waste your time. Here are 6 most disturbing hiking encounters caught on camera. Chris Kremers, 21, and Lisanne Froon, 22, were 2 adventurous and bright young women from Amersfoort, Netherlands. Both had recently graduated and were looking forward to exploring the world before starting their professional careers. Chris, a creative soul with a passion for art and photography, was described as an intelligent and strong-willed individual. Lisanne, more soft-spoken and athletic, had a background in applied psychology and a love for outdoor activities. The 2 women were close friends who shared a deep bond. In March 2014, they traveled to Panama to volunteer, improve their Spanish, and immerse themselves in a new culture. For a month, they stayed with a local host family in the small town of Boquete, a picturesque area known for its lush cloud forests, hiking trails, and proximity to the imposing Baru volcano. On April 1st, 2014, Chris and Lisanne set out on what was supposed to be a casual hike along the Pianista Trail, a popular path that cuts through the Panamanian jungle. They left their host family's house around 11 a.m., taking just a few essential items: their phones, a camera, and a backpack. They didn't take much food or water, suggesting they didn't plan for an extended journey. That afternoon, Chris and Lisanne's parents began to feel uneasy. They hadn't heard from their daughters, which was unusual, given that both women had been in regular contact since they'd arrived in Panama. When evening came and there was still no word from the girls, concern quickly turned to alarm. By the next day, April 2nd, a search effort was initiated. At first, it seemed like a simple case of 2 tourists who had lost their way on the trail. But as the days stretched on, it became clear that something much darker was at play. The initial search for Chris and Lisanne yielded no results, but 2 months later, a major break came when a local indigenous woman found a backpack floating in the river near her village. Inside the backpack were crucial items belonging to the girls, including their phones, Lisanne's camera, sunglasses, money, and 2 bras. The contents were strangely dry and intact, despite the heavy rains in the area. The discovery of the backpack, however, only deepened the mystery. Investigators soon found something even more disturbing. Data from the girls' phones and camera revealed a series of unsettling clues. After analyzing the phones, investigators discovered that Chris and Lisanne had made several attempts to call emergency services in the days following their disappearance. The first call was made just hours after they embarked on their hike, on the evening of April 1st. Unfortunately, due to poor reception in the dense jungle, none of the calls were successful. The phone records revealed that over the next several days, more attempts were made to call emergency services. On April 3rd, Lisanne's phone died. After this point, only Chris's iPhone was used, but strangely, someone appeared to turn the phone on several times without entering the correct PIN code, a sign that Chris may have been incapacitated by this time, or that someone else was handling her phone. The last recorded activity on Chris's phone was on April 11th, over a week after the pair went missing. After that, the phone was never turned on again. The most haunting clue, however, came from Lisanne's digital camera, which contained over 90 photos. The first set of photos were typical of young tourists, smiling selfies and landscape shots taken along the Pianista Trail. These pictures showed Chris and Lisanne in good spirits, unaware of the danger that would soon unfold. But things took a bizarre turn on April 8th, when 90 photos were taken in the middle of the night, between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. These nighttime images are the most chilling aspect of the case. They are mostly dark, with only a few capturing anything discernible, seemingly indicating distress. The eerie question that haunts this discovery is, why were these photos taken? Were the girls trying to signal for help, or was someone else taking these photos? To this day, the reason behind the photos remains one of the most perplexing aspects of the case. In June 2014, just months after the backpack was discovered, another grim discovery was made. Searchers found a pair of shoes and bones scattered along the riverbank near where the backpack had been found. One of the shoes still had a foot inside it. The bones were later confirmed to belong to both Chris and Lisanne. Tests conducted on the bones raised further questions. Lisanne's bones appeared to have decomposed naturally, but Chris's bones were found to be bleached. Some investigators suggested that this could have been due to exposure to the elements, but others speculated about whether someone might have tampered with the remains. With so many unsettling clues but so few answers, the case of Chris Cremers and Lisanne Froon has become a magnet for speculation. Though some believe the case will eventually be solved, others fear that we may never know what really happened to Chris and Lisanne. What we do know is that two young women set out on an adventure, full of life and hope, only to meet a fate that remains shrouded in mystery. This footage chronicles a dramatic and gripping hiking rescue mission undertaken by a group of locals in a rural area after reports emerge of a woman being ensnared by a massive snake. The incident takes place in a dense, untamed jungle landscape, adding an element of danger and unpredictability to the unfolding events. It was like just another normal day for the citizens of this rural area when the group learns of the alarming incident involving a woman who was bathing in a river when she reportedly became entangled with a giant snake. Shocked by the news, the locals quickly mobilize to find and rescue her. They exhibit a strong sense of unity and urgency, as the potential danger posed by the snake makes the situation a race against time. With minimal resources but a shared determination, they head out into the dense wilderness. The path to the river is treacherous, filled with steep inclines, thick vegetation, and slippery terrain. The group navigates an ancient riverbed, which is particularly hazardous due to recent rainfall that has left the ground slick and unstable.
Jalannya seperti ini ya.
Along the way, several group members struggle to maintain their footing, slipping on the wet and uneven surface. Despite the physical challenges, the group presses on, driven by the need to reach the woman before the situation worsens. The harsh environment underscores the difficulty of life in such rural areas, where natural landscapes often present formidable obstacles. As the group advances deeper into the jungle, the atmosphere becomes increasingly tense. The thick foliage and limited visibility heighten the sense of danger, as they are acutely aware of the possibility of encountering other wildlife or snakes in the area. The locals exchange thoughts and theories about the snake's size and species, speculating about its behavior and the potential risk it poses. The uncertainty surrounding the situation amplifies their anxiety and determination. The group eventually comes across clues that suggest the presence of the massive snake, including disturbed vegetation and markings on the ground. These signs point them in the direction of the woman's last known location. The physical and emotional strain of the search is palpable, as the group must balance their fear of the unknown with their commitment to saving the woman. They communicate closely, ensuring that everyone remains alert and cautious as they push forward. After an arduous journey, the group reaches the area where the woman was reportedly last seen. The tension peaks as they finally encounter the snake.
Itu ada yang teriak-teriak tuh. Itu ternyata. Itu teman. Itu Masya Allah, ternyata besar ularnya. Hati-hati kan. Tolongan. Wah, ternyata temannya.
Its size leaves the group in awe. It is massive and powerful, a clear representation of the jungle's untamed nature. The sight of the snake serves as both a climax to the search and a reminder of the raw power of the natural world. Confronting the snake requires both bravery and quick thinking, as they try to navigate the immediate threat it poses.
Tolong. Ini kan ukurannya besar ya? Besar ini. Kamera kita. Ayo kita up dulu. Matikan aja kamera. Kita matikan kamera kita. Oke. Kita matikan. Kita nolong.
The group looks at the snake, shocked by its size, and as they close in on the snake, the video ends abruptly. There is no further info about this particular video on the channel, but finding a snake this large in your area who reportedly tried to entangle a woman is pretty disturbing. Burbex is a YouTuber who has been posting on the platform for nearly 8 years. He is famous for his urban exploration and venturing into abandoned places. On July 9, 2017, he embarks on a solo cycling trip to Mount Fuji's infamous Aokigahara Forest, often referred to as the Forest. Known for its association with tragic events and urban legends, the forest has a reputation for its eerie atmosphere and dense foliage. As Burbex prepares for his journey, he carefully selects his gear. Highlighting the importance of preparation, he emphasizes the unpredictable nature of exploring such a forest. The journey begins early in the morning as he cycles along Route 139, which skirts the base of Mount Fuji. He describes the initial segment as peaceful, with mist shrouding the landscape and Mount Fuji partially obscured in the distance. Passing through Narasa village, the last populated area before the forest, he remarks on the tranquil, almost surreal atmosphere. Upon arriving at the outskirts of the forest, Burbex notes the immediate change in the environment. The dense forest allows only limited visibility, with the foliage appearing thick and impenetrable. He pauses to examine his surroundings, pointing out the uneven terrain formed by ancient lava flows.
To be really careful here because this forest actually grew out of lava flows, and you can see the forest floor is very corrugated where the lava has laid down and then the moss has grown over it.
These lava fields, overgrown with moss and vegetation, create a dangerous landscape riddled with hidden holes and crevices. Burbex references accounts of people who accidentally fell into these traps, suffering injuries that rendered them unable to leave the forest, sometimes leading to fatal outcomes. Venturing deeper into the forest, he encounters his first sign of human presence, an abandoned bicycle.
I'm only a few meters away from the road right now, but I've already found an abandoned bike. It's actually a pretty nice bike. Let's take a look at it. I don't think it's been here a long time. What do we got in here? And there's a packet for a knife. Maybe somebody's going out into the woods to...
Examining it closely, he notes that it appears relatively new, indicating that it hasn't been there for long. Nearby, he discovers what looks like a knife packet, suggesting that someone may have entered the forest with troubling intentions. These items evoke an uneasy feeling, serving as poignant reminders of the forest's reputation. Continuing his exploration, the vlogger observes peculiar details of the landscape, including small caves beneath the forest floor and scattered belongings such as a saucepan. While the saucepan seems out of place, he humorously ponders its presence, reflecting on the strange artifacts people leave behind in the forest. Amid these musings, he discovers a handwritten note in a bag, bearing what appears to be a name and date. The note translates to 1211, verified, Fuji Yoshita Police Station verified, which means that it's likely the evidence of someone who came into the forest, abandoned their stuff, and likely wanted to take their own life. Later, it was also confirmed by the local police station.
I've just found some kind of note in a bag. It says 1211. I can't quite make out. I think this is somebody's name just here, and I'm not sure what this means. Maybe I should take that to the forester station later.
As he delves further into the woods, the ambient noise takes on an unsettling quality. Despite the oppressive silence and occasional unsettling discovery, he maintains a sense of curiosity and determination to explore. He acknowledges the forest's history as a site where many have chosen to end their lives, discussing its cultural significance and the steps taken by local authorities to address the issue. Signs urging visitors to reconsider their actions and reminding them of the value of life are strategically placed along the trails, reflecting efforts to provide support to those in distress. The duality of Aokigahara Forest is unignorable. On one hand, it is a place of natural beauty, with its lush greenery, unique lava formations, and tranquil ambiance. On the other, it carries a heavy emotional weight due to its association with loss and despair. While he didn't encounter any of the more extreme phenomena often attributed to the forest in urban legends, the artifacts and ambiance left a lasting impression. The forest's silence, broken only by occasional unsettling sounds, created an atmosphere that was both captivating and sobering. The journey serves as a poignant exploration of a location steeped in both natural wonder and cultural significance. Sergey is a Russian YouTuber and the owner of the channel Bad Pioneer. His channel gained a lot of attention in the year 2019 when he posted this video. The video recounts the harrowing experience of Sergey, an experienced Russian hunter, who ventured deep into the Siberian taiga, one of the most remote and inhospitable regions in the world. Known for his adventurous spirit, Sergey had explored vast stretches of Siberian wilderness in the past and dismissed warnings about the dangers of venturing alone into the taiga. Fellow hunters had cautioned him about stories of strange occurrences and unexplored areas, but Sergey's confidence in his skills and familiarity with the environment led him to disregard these concerns. Determined to spend a night in the wilderness, Sergey set out equipped with basic survival tools and his hunting gear. The taiga's dense vegetation, uneven terrain, and complete isolation offered a unique challenge, but Sergey was accustomed to such conditions. He hiked through the forest all day, eventually setting up camp in an area he believed to be untouched by humans. As night fell, the atmosphere became increasingly unsettling, marked by an oppressive silence broken only by the occasional sound of wildlife. At approximately 1 a.m., Sergey was abruptly awoken by strange metallic noises. Initially distant, the sounds grew louder and seemed to move closer to his campsite. Though puzzled by the noise, Sergey initially dismissed it as an ordinary occurrence. However, when the sounds became too loud to ignore, his unease deepened. He decided to investigate and began recording the situation on his phone. As he stepped out of his tent, the darkness was so thick that even the light from his phone barely penetrated a few meters ahead. The recordings captured eerie, unexplained noises that sent chills down Sergey's spine. Sergey was well acquainted with the calls and behaviors of the taiga's wildlife, but these noises were unlike anything he had encountered before. The sounds resembled metallic clangs, and at times a woman's distant cries. Sergey knew he was in an area far from any human settlements or roads, making the source of the noises all the more baffling. Alone and with no means of contacting help due to the lack of cell service, Sergey quickly realized the severity of his situation. The isolation of the taiga meant that if something happened to him, no one would be able to find him. With the noises persisting, Sergey decided to leave his campsite, moving approximately 200 meters away to distance himself from the source. He climbed a tree, a common safety tactic among hunters, hoping the elevation would protect him from whatever might be approaching. As he sat in the tree, the noises continued, now closer and more disturbing. sounds transformed into something akin to human cries, which Sergei found deeply unnerving. Feeling cornered and desperate, he fired a warning shot into the darkness, hoping to scare away whatever was stalking him. The shot briefly silenced the noises, but Sergei's recordings captured something even more chilling, a scream that didn't sound human. This scream, combined with the earlier metallic clangs and cries, confirmed Sergei's fears that he was dealing with something entirely beyond his understanding. Despite his extensive knowledge of the forest and its wildlife, he couldn't explain what he was experiencing. He later admitted that his primary motivation for recording was the hope that, if he didn't survive, someone might find his phone and learn what had happened. For the next few hours, Sergei remained in the tree, paralyzed by fear. The noises eventually subsided, and an uneasy silence returned to the forest. As dawn approached and the first rays of sunlight illuminated the treetops, Sergei decided to leave the area. Exhausted and shaken, he made his way out of the taiga, grateful to have survived the ordeal. His recordings, which documented the strange noises and his reactions, served as evidence of his terrifying encounter. The video follows two outdoor enthusiasts embarking on a wild hiking and camping adventure in North Wales, near Wrexham. Their plan includes setting up a camp, exploring the area, cooking a meal, and enjoying the natural beauty of the location. However, their experience takes an unsettling turn when they encounter something, leading to an abrupt end to their trip. The hosts introduce the camping location near Erdig Hall. They express excitement about spending a couple of days in the wilderness, engaging in outdoor cooking and enjoying the tranquility of nature. After some exploration, they settle near a riverbank, a picturesque location surrounded by trees and open skies. They take a moment to appreciate the serene atmosphere, noting the warmer weather compared to previous weeks. As they begin setting up camp, the video captures the essence of wild camping, connecting with nature while preparing for a night under the stars. Once their tent is set up, they turn their attention to cooking. The hosts prepare a steak meal over an open fire, showcasing the simplicity and joy of outdoor cooking. As the day transitions into evening, the mood shifts when they encounter a man walking a dog near their campsite.
So, we're sitting here now and we're debating whether we should pack up or carry on, because that guy was a bit weird, wasn't he?
Well, he basically said, I come down, he came down, he was talking about all this random mad stuff, apocalypse and all this stuff, and then he started looking for diamonds in the water and said that the dinosaurs
and the fact that he comes back here every night at 4 a.m.
And he said he comes here at 4, he stays here till like 4 a.m.
Now, he's asking questions like, are we staying here all night?
And
so it's a bit iffy, you know, if he pisses off now and comes back with a load of lads. And
the last thing you want to do is be drinking whiskey, fall asleep, and then have 3 men just turn up randomly, and you know, we don't know what their intentions are, do we?
But at the moment everything seems okay, so we're just going to chill here for a bit longer, and no one comes in the next hour. And
though initially brushing it off as harmless eccentricity, the hosts feel increasingly uneasy when the man reveals he frequents the area late into the night. The tension escalates as night falls. While enjoying whiskey and peanuts by the fire, the hosts notice a shadowy figure watching them from a distance.
Nice fire there, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Look there, bro. What's over there? What? What's up there?
Realizing the figure could be the same man they met earlier, the thought of an unknown person lurking in the dark unsettles them. Concerned for their safety, the hosts decide to pack up and leave the site immediately. The process is hurried and stressful, with limited visibility adding to the challenge. As they depart, they hear faint sounds of someone moving through the woods, but cannot determine the source. Reflecting on the experience, the hosts share their disappointment at cutting the trip short.
Lo and behold, we're sitting there now, no phones, right? We turn our phones off, fire's on, we're drinking whiskey, chilling out. We're thinking, oh, in an hour's time we'll get some sleep, get our heads down. But then,
I started filming a video.
He was filming a video, and there was a shadow, right? And we thought, no way, right? And there was somebody there, standing there, or sitting there. What was he doing?
I don't know, like,
He was
crouched
by the
down.
trees anyway, crouched down, watching us. And
I don't know how long he was there.
It had to be that guy. It couldn't be nothing else. It had to be that guy, because we're not scared of anything like that.
I was looking at this now, but it was probably him. He was just literally crouched down about 20 metres away, probably a little bit less, and he was just
staring at us.
They express regret for missing the chance to wake up by the river and enjoy a peaceful morning swim. However, they acknowledge the importance of prioritizing safety in uncertain situations. They speculate about the man's intentions, noting that his behavior and the eerie circumstances around their camp were enough to warrant leaving. Although there was no footage of the man caught on camera, their reaction, and this part of the video being cut abruptly, seems like was enough for the audience of this channel. Like always, do let me know your thoughts on this encounter. On March 29th, 2022, the last encounter of this video was posted on the XGhost97 YouTube channel, a paranormal vlogger who undertakes a solo nighttime exploration of a haunted house reputed to be inhabited by aswang and mangkukulam, mythical creatures deeply rooted in Filipino folklore. The host expressed excitement and nervousness about the solo exploration. He explains that he has been intrigued by reports of paranormal activity at this site, particularly the appearance of an aswang. Determined to verify the claims, he ventures alone into the remote and eerie location. After hiking for a while, he approaches this house. The vlogger becomes visibly uneasy. He mentions feeling an inexplicable heaviness in the atmosphere and remarks on the isolation of the location. The house itself is dilapidated and overgrown with vegetation, exuding an air of abandonment and mystery. The host keeps his voice low, fearing that any loud sounds might provoke unwanted attention. The silence is punctuated by strange noises, rustling, faint footsteps, and distant thuds that make him stop repeatedly to assess whether he is being watched.
Parang galit.
These sounds create a tense atmosphere as he prepares to enter the structure. Inside the house, the setting is even more unsettling. The rooms are filled with debris, broken furniture, and items long since abandoned. The walls are cracked, the floorboards creak ominously, and the air feels heavy. He comments on the eerie vibe, describing how it feels like the house is alive with energy. The structure appears to have been untouched for years, adding to the mystery of the space. Despite his fear, he begins exploring the house, calling out to see if anyone or anything will respond. Throughout his exploration, the host experiences several unexplainable phenomena that intensify his unease. At one point, he hears what sounds like faint footsteps or scurrying movements coming from another room. He quickly investigates but finds nothing. Moments later, he spots a fleeting figure resembling a child dressed in white.
Ayan. Ayan, may bata. Hoy! Hoy! Saan pupunta? Ayan. Diyan ako galing kanina mga kaiskus. Diyan ako galing kanina. Diyan ako dumadaan. Hoy! Hoy bata! Saan ka pupunta? Grabe. Whew! Jesus name. Bata! Grabe ba? Diyan ako galing kanina mga kaiskus. Diyan ako dumadaan.
The sight startles him and he instinctively calls out, asking who is there. However, no one responds, and the figure disappears. The vlogger hesitates, clearly frightened, but decides to continue. He speculates that the figure might be an aswang or a spirit tied to the house, which aligns with the stories he had heard prior to his visit. He expresses his disbelief, noting that the figure moved too quickly and disappeared in an inexplicable manner. He begins to believe that the child might be an otherworldly entity, possibly an aswang or a manifestation of the house's paranormal energy. He concludes that the accounts of supernatural activity are likely true, based on what he has witnessed firsthand. At this point, he decides to end his exploration and return home, acknowledging that the site has lived up to its eerie reputation. He expresses gratitude for being able to leave the location safely, but admits to feeling shaken by the events of the night. And with that, I'm out.